the world's largest commercial airliner, is coming apart in midair. Pilots face an avalanche of warnings. Critical systems are failing. Throughout the gigantic plane, the lives of 440 passengers are at risk. And the crisis quickly escalates from bad to catastrophic. This is the story of Qantas Airways Flight 32, the Airbus A380 Superjumbo that suffered one of the most dramatic engine failures in modern aviation history. A flight so severe that veteran investigators would later describe it as a near-perfect storm of mechanical destruction. System failures and cockpit overload. Yet somehow, against extraordinary odds, every person on board survived. On November 4th, 2010, Qantas Flight 32 prepares to depart Singapore Changi Airport for Sydney, Australia. The aircraft is a nearly new Airbus A380-842, registration VHOQA. Proudly named Nancy Bird Walton. At the time, the A380 is the flagship of global aviation. The largest passenger aircraft ever built, 2 full passenger decks, 4 powerful Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines, advanced fly-by-wire systems, a symbol of engineering confidence. On board are 440 passengers and 29 crew members, including pilots, flight attendants, and operating crew. In the cockpit sits one of Qantas Airways' most experienced teams, led by Captain Richard de Crespigny, First Officer Matt Hicks, Second Officer Mark Johnson, and Check Captain Dave Evans. Their experience will soon be tested beyond imagination. The takeoff is routine. The giant aircraft climbs smoothly into the tropical skies above Singapore. Banking out over Batam Island, Indonesia, passengers settle into their seats. Most expect an uneventful overnight flight to Australia. But only minutes after departure, disaster strikes, as Flight 32 climbs through approximately 7,000 feet. There is a sudden violent bang. The sound is heard across the aircraft. The entire airframe shudders. Some passengers think the plane has collided with another aircraft. Others believe a bomb has exploded. On the left wing, engine number 2, one of the inboard Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines, has suffered an uncontained failure inside the engine. A turbine disc bursts apart at tremendous speed. Metal fragments blast outward like shrapnel. Unlike a contained engine failure, where debris remains inside the engine casing, this explosion punches through the nacelle and tears into the wing itself. Fragments slice through hydraulic lines, electrical wiring, fuel systems, flight control cables, structural components, and landing gear systems. The Airbus A380 was designed with multiple redundancies, but now, multiple backup systems are being destroyed simultaneously in the cockpit. Warning chimes begin sounding non-stop. The electronic centralized aircraft monitor floods the screens with messages. One after another, then dozens more, then dozens again. More than 50 separate warnings and cautions appear. The crew now faces one of the most complex emergencies ever encountered in commercial aviation. Engine failure, fuel imbalance, hydraulic loss, flight control degradation. Spoiler failures, brake system faults, landing gear abnormalities, electrical faults. Slat and flap damage, performance calculation uncertainty. The pilots must process a mountain of alerts while still flying a crippled 560-ton aircraft. Captain de Crespigny later described the cockpit workload as unlike anything he had ever seen. Passengers seated near the left wing look out in horror. Parts of the engine cowling are missing. The wing is visibly damaged. Smoke trails behind the aircraft. Inside the cabin, some people pray. Others grip armrests in silence. Flight attendants move quickly to reassure passengers while preparing for a possible emergency landing. But the danger is far from over. Fuel continues leaking from damaged systems. The aircraft is heavy with fuel for the long flight to Sydney. Some systems needed to dump fuel are also damaged. The crew wants to return to Singapore, but landing overweight with uncertain braking systems and damaged controls could destroy the aircraft on the runway. They must calculate every move carefully, unlike simpler emergencies with clear checklists. Flight 32's crew confronts cascading failures no checklist fully covers. Every action could worsen another problem. Shut down one system, another may fail. Use fuel transfer. Damaged valves may misbehave. Prepare landing gear. It may not lock properly. Brake too hard after landing. Brakes may overheat or fail. The pilots divide tasks with discipline. One flies the aircraft. One handles radio communications. Others work through pages of checklists. Performance calculations are done repeatedly by hand. The crew circles near Singapore for more than an hour, burning fuel and assessing controllability. Meanwhile, emergency services gather below. Cabin crew begin preparing passengers for a possible crash landing. They brief brace positions. They secure the cabin. They calm frightened travelers. They watch for smoke or fire. Many passengers do not know the full extent of the damage. Some simply sense from the seriousness of the crew that this is no normal emergency. Outside, the disabled A380 continues orbiting as engineers on the ground analyze possibilities. And air traffic control clears space for its return.
Runway is available. Emergency crews are standing by.
Eventually, the crew commits to landing back at Singapore Changi Airport. But even the approach is complicated. Damaged flaps mean higher landing speed. Higher speed means longer stopping distance. Faulty spoilers and brakes reduce margin further. The giant jet descends heavier and faster than normal. Thousands on the ground are unaware that one of the most critical airline emergencies of the decade is unfolding overhead. The A380 crosses the runway threshold and lands firmly. The crew applies braking cautiously, aware that overheating brakes could trigger fire or tire failure. Reverse thrust is limited because one engine is destroyed, and the others must be managed carefully. Slowly, the aircraft decelerates. Then it stops on the runway, but the emergency is not over. One damaged engine cannot be shut down normally. It continues running. Fuel leaks remain a concern. Fire crews surround the aircraft. Passengers wait on board as engineers and pilots work through shutdown procedures. Only after the remaining risks are reduced can evacuation stairs be brought in. Emergency slides are avoided because they could injure passengers unnecessarily if a rapid evacuation is not required. Eventually, passengers begin disembarking by stairs onto the runway. Many kiss the ground, others applaud the crew, some are in tears. Every one of the 469 people on board survives. Investigators from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, assisted by Singapore authorities, Airbus, Rolls-Royce, and multiple agencies, launch a major investigation. They trace the disaster to a manufacturing defect inside the Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engine. A mismachined oil feed pipe caused fatigue cracking. Oil leaked into hot engine areas, leading to an internal fire and catastrophic turbine disc failure. That single defect triggered the chain reaction that nearly destroyed the aircraft. Qantas Flight 32 became famous not only because an Airbus A380 suffered a massive engine explosion, but because of how the crew responded. Aviation experts praised exceptional crew resource management, calm decision-making under overload, strong cockpit teamwork, cabin crew professionalism, and aircraft redundancy that preserved control. Captain Richard de Crespigny and the crew were widely honored for their performance.